Hi guys, good evening. Welcome to the Black Feather and Ospreys Rugby Fancast. I don't actually know where to start tonight, guys.
Yeah, what a
I
few days.
I am very rarely lost for words, but right now I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with myself. But
Hmm.
we'll get onto that in a little bit. So should we focus on positives right now? So number
Sorry,
one,
there are positives.
yeah, but
Go
not
on
in the
then,
way
hit
that
me.
you may think there are. Um, First one, it's the first time all three of us have recorded together for a good couple of months. So that's a positive. We'll put that in
Well,
the win
well said.
column.
Well said,
What,
Sam. Yeah,
what a
yeah,
pod to come back to, though, eh?
yeah. Well, we
My
couldn't do
timing
this
could
one
not be
without you.
worse.
We
Your
couldn't do
timing,
it.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, we could not do this like just as the dynamic duo. This had to be the three amigos.
Yeah.
Something as seismic as this. Other positive, okay, so we lost the last two games against Montpellier and Zebra, but we are through to the knockout stages and we head out to play Ulster Easter weekend. Um, both games, I think I wasn't there on Saturday. I double booked myself. I took my mum to see Mamma Mia. To those of you who gave a boost to Stuart Hogg, I applaud you.
That
Well
was
done.
fantastic.
You could hear it on telly,
No,
loud
absolutely.
as day.
It did not stop. Like, it was
No.
brutal. My
I
partner,
know.
who doesn't pay attention to rugby, was even tuning in and saying, "Who on earth is getting all that stick?" Because it was
Honestly,
brutal.
someone posted and said that they thought it was really rude of our fans to
Yeah,
boo and jeer, and then someone pointed out and went, "What? You mean the person who's been found guilty of coercive control
yeah,
and
Yeah.
is also suspected of beating his new partner,
yeah.
allegedly?" Uh,
Mm.
yeah, I think is perfectly justified, and they soon backpedaled then a little.
What was
Um,
fantastic about it, it wasn't just when he was kicking for touch
it was
or
everything.
taking goal kicks. It was if the ball like floated through his hands for half a second down the line, they booed in that moment. It was relentless. It was non-stop. Yeah, it was probably the best thing about that watch because I too watched from home.
Yeah,
I needed a day on the sofa, cuddled up,
I think there was
watching the
actually a
rugby.
point, I think, where some of the fans obviously maybe couldn't quite tell when Hogg had the ball, so they were just booing everybody who was anywhere near him. Because
Yeah.
there were a few occasions where a few props copped it as well, and a few other players who were
see,
just happened to be nearby, and it was like, yeah, it's close enough.
I love this. I love this about rugby in that, we see nuisances as very different, don't we? So there's a good nuisance like Harry Deves, but then there's, the whole would you rather be stuck in a forest with a bear or Stuart Hogg? Give me the bear every single time. Um, I had my smartwatch on. At one point, my mother punched me because John kept sending me um, updates of the score and whatever. I briefly watched it back because obviously a lot went on yesterday, so I didn't have a full chance to kind of watch it. But I think the takeaway from the last two games really is that they were kind of there for the taking. If we'd have cut our errors down, then it could have been very different, and we could have been facing a home tie. Although looking at who we would have faced at home, I kind of think I prefer Ulster away.
Yeah, true.
Because it could have
Still though,
been
it was
Munster or someone else.
It was ripe for the taking, though. You're right, Sam. It was
Yeah,
probably the best opportunity that we've had for home draws right through to the final for a number of years. So it is an opportunity that's gone begging. And that's probably why we won't dwell on it tonight because
yeah,
those
Yeah.
two games, they feel like wasted opportunities, and there's probably nothing to gain in picking those apart other than to say, well, there's certainly learnings to be taken from each of those games. And
Yeah.
hopefully we can put that into practice against Ulster when it comes round, and obviously Lions this weekend.
And there was a lot made before the game about the squad rotation for the Montpellier game, especially. I think even with that rotation as a game, we should have won anyway.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
balance of play on the pitch, we were in complete control from 20 minutes in until the last 10, 15. We had ample chances to win the game anyway, regardless of the team that we had out. I think the rotation was necessary because just the sheer number of games we've got now coming up to the Six Nations in this last block. And with the news that's since come out since the game, it's amazing that the players are actually still standing and able to concentrate on playing a game of rugby at all, to be fair.
Yeah.
Two things to note just out of those games. Fantastic to see if we're going to try and cling on to any positives that we can in this episode. Great to see Owen Watkin back. Warmed into his return in the game against Zebra, and then I think fully came back to form against Montpellier. Particularly, and we know this already, but as a defensive leader, some of it's his like upper body strength that he doesn't look huge, but his ability to sort of wrap a player. We know he's got the rip in his toolbox. He loves to sort of rip a ball in live play, doesn't he, and send it. What do they call it these days? Crumbs, make crumbs of it. But his ability to just wrap a player and hold them up and slow down the play that way and just stop them going to ground was fantastic. And he employed that quite a few times against Montpellier. And it's something that we've been missing. And I think what we have now is a clear, maybe more attacking pairing with Cocknessinger and Boshoff, and then maybe more of a defensive pairing with Keith and Watkin. And we can deploy those, as and when we need to. So that's a positive for me.
Yeah, we've got two really strong units there, haven't we? We've got probably amongst the four best centre combinations probably in the entire league now, really, in terms of that we can swap any of those players out for the other, and it doesn't really weaken the centres at all.
Yeah. And certainly earned his place in this Welsh squad.
Yeah.
A lot of strength there in that back line. And I think with Owen, for me, he's deceptive how solid he is. A couple of weeks back, I was speaking to Jack. It was the last home game, and I spoke to Owen as well because he was talking about his oxygen chamber business thing, and it did strike me that he's not big by any means, but he looked solid. Do you know what I mean? So it's lovely to see that coming back. I think there are glimmers there, and there are things that we do well, but I think for me it's cutting down on those errors and taking what we can when we can, not relying on it going in our favour. We know Colby's not a great ref, so we weren't expecting great reffing performance out in Zebra, but we could have won that. Again, same with Montpellier. It was so interesting though that I speak a little bit of Italian, not major. We're talking Duolingo Italian, but paying for the game on the ECPR TV. Then it was Italian commentary, and it was amazing that they were obviously talking about the state of Welsh rugby, because you could hear things like Cardiff Dragons, Scarlets, because obviously there's no direct translation to that into Italian, and a lot was talked about half time with regards to that. So that's got to be a lot of noise going on in the background with that, when reality is you're there to just do a job and do a number and win, but we'll skate over that.
One more thing, sorry Sam. Thoughts on Marco de Witt? I don't actually remember. I tried to pay attention to him when I watched the game, but I was half distracted. I got stuff going on in my family life, plus everything else. I didn't pay too much attention to the Montpellier game. Did he look decent? He looked like a bit of a different player to Jack, even though he's brought in to cover him, isn't he?
Yeah, not a standout performance, but a solid debut certainly. And we need that 15 cover. I mean, Nagy's sort of in and out and been injured a fair bit as well, so it gives us another option at 15 certainly. And for a first performance, was perfectly adequate, perfectly fine, without being too exciting. But hopefully he'll sort of grow into that role as the season goes on, or hopefully more so. Jack won't have to play at 10 too often.
Back
Oh, Jack,
row.
sorry, back row. Sorry, what am I talking about? I'm. You said,
I was
oh,
getting really
Really
confused
confused
then.
looks on
sorry.
mine
What
and
have I?
Sam's faces
Me
then, but
and
you were
me
so
and
Oh,
me
confident
and
in
Rod
your
were like,
analysis that I wasn't
sorry.
sure whether I
Yeah,
was right or wrong.
I had. I tell you what happened there. I was going to mention Jack Walsh at 10 before you started to speak, and I had
Ah,
and then
Jack
you got
Walsh at 10 in my mind
ADHD
before I
brain.
said it, and then I
yeah,
went off on a
yeah.
tangent. So yeah, I'm going to get ripped for that one.
That's okay.
Okay,
Wrong
now
position.
give us your
Wrong
analysis
player in the wrong
On Marco
position.
Duet.
on
I'm
Marco
back
de
to
Vid.
it. Yeah, again, yeah, I'll stick to what I said in terms of it was a solid performance, not a standout, but fine. Um, yeah, but hopefully he never has to play 15 or 10.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking, um,
Oh shit.
way to go to confuse me.
Yeah, I'll
Um,
get my coat.
watch the door don't hit you on the way out. Um, but we take positives from that, and we do tend to do relatively okay when we go to these knockout stages. We've taken bigger scalps, at these stages in the competition. So, let's hope now that we head to Easter weekend. But and the positives, can you call it positives really when I think that it's a bit of a shambles? Um, 7 players named in the Wales squad for the
Mm.
upcoming Six Nations. Fantastic that Deepsy's been named. Um,
Have you got the full
there are
list in
some
front of you?
some notably absent people for me in
Mm.
amongst that.
Yeah.
So just to cover who is in, it's Deves, Dan Edwards, Kieran Hardy and Ruben Morgan Williams both get in the 9 jersey. Dewi Lake as captain. Gar Tom and Owen Watkin as well makes return to the Welsh squad. So yeah, over to you, Sam. Big omissions. There are a few.
I think uh Rhys Davis is
Hmm.
one who could be justifiably annoyed. I think Moriarty probably played himself into a worthy spot. Um,
100%. Yeah.
I know that he said, I'm not ruling anything out, but I do think that that is a stark omission. I think Morgan Morris being left
Hmm.
out is, again, glaringly not reflective of how he's performed. Do I think that the forwards we've picked are up to it? No, we're not going to boss anybody with that. And I stand to be corrected in 8 weeks' time.
Mm.
But that's not a Welsh team to me that ignites anything in me.
No.
Um,
I think Morse
Morse as
is
well.
extremely
yeah,
unlucky, isn't he? I mean, I don't
yeah.
understand if we're in a rebuild, which we clearly are. Then why
21
build up
years
a
old,
player
I
like
know.
Morgan Morse to be the future of that back row,
Yeah.
blood him in the autumn, and then drop him for the next campaign? It just doesn't make any sense at all.
None
We're
at all.
building. We're building for the future. We're giving him an opportunity. You now nurture, not just dump him out of the squad and say, "Go on, crack on, go back to your club
Yeah,
site."
I'm delighted for those lads that have been picked. I think, Deebs is very, very, very deserving of
Hmm.
being picked for his second campaign. I love that Handy's taking the punt on Dan Edwards. I think he's got the temperament and the mentality that you need in a 10 that you can shake it off. I know I've compared him to Finn before, but I do think he's got that element of Finn about him where he can just have the confidence to go, do you know what? It didn't work. That's okay. And I love that about him, because that's dangerous. That's a sense of freedom in a player that creates uncertainty in the opposing team. So
Mm.
for those that have been picked, Gar Tom, I'm chuffed for them, absolutely chuffed. But I do think there are people who could have very well been deserving of a spot. I don't get the Plumtree thing. He's a walking card as far as I'm concerned, I don't think the benefits outweigh, the
His inclusion over Moriarty is
is insane.
insane. It is crazy, and you could probably put any other of the back row's names up against Moriarty there and say the same statement because he is so deserved of a recall. How old's he now? 31, 32. You might not get much more use out of him, but at the moment he's playing
He's rampaging.
incredibly well. Yeah, yeah, and he's
Yeah.
loving the physicality of the game, and that's something that we've just been lacking.
He's
It's
been a
it's
niggly
it
bastard. He's
adds up.
streetwise.
Yeah.
Yes, he's niggly. He's streetwise,
Hmm.
and you got him saying, "Come on." I
Yeah.
I think he strikes me as the type of lad who is going to be like, "We're not going to be bullied by these bastards."
Yeah. And we need a bit of that
Absolutely, and we need that.
old school doggedness. But maybe that's the decision. That's the reason why he wasn't included. Maybe it's something
Yeah.
to do with this new age of player who respond more to kindness and an arm around them opposed to the dryer treatment or a bit of a
Sometimes I just want you to
bollocking.
punch the opposition in the face.
Yeah, and we know Ross
Equally.
Moriarty is that second category, don't we? And,
Yeah.
and maybe he just doesn't fit into the mentality that Tandy's trying to build. But
Yeah.
even if that is the case, you cannot excuse the physicality of the man, and he should have been in there,
Yeah.
as should have Morse. There's probably others, even just within the Ospreys squad, that were deserved of a call up. Garen Phillips.
Yeah.
Who else? There were more on my mind earlier, but I can't think. Gilo, again, unfortunate to miss out, but competition has heated
Rio
up in that
Dyer.
position. Rio Dyer hasn't even got in, and I'd say
What
he's
the
been one of the
frig?
form wingers this
Yeah.
sort of
And I've
winter
been a
period.
massive, massive criticizer
As have
or
I.
massively critical of Rio Dyer
Mm.
after, Dragons, what are you doing, guys? I'm really happy for you. So that's another positive.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but
I think
I just think, yeah, there's people there who are glaringly being omitted, and you're like, I
Hmm.
don't know where your mind's going with this, Steve lad.
I think also the most glaring omission of the whole announcement today was the interest of the Welsh rugby public
Yeah.
to that announcement. I've seen so little discourse on Twitter today, discussing who's in, who's not, who should have been, who shouldn't have been. Normally at this
Everything has
stage,
been, I
10
don't give
hours
a
after
shit.
an announcement, it would be massive debate on there about who's in, who's not. It's just not happened
Nothing.
today because it's
Radio
not on
silence.
people's radar.
Um,
So
radio
Well, that's what you
silence.
get,
really sad.
Mark, when you try to use an announcement as a distraction tactic from the
Yeah.
the
The
bad news that you dropped the day
very, very
before.
bad news.
But it's very sad
Um,
for the players that have been picked.
Yeah.
It is for a lot of them
this
their
should
first caps,
be
the pinnacle of their
their
rugby
best
career,
day of their career.
and it's been overshadowed by everything else to the point where, dare I say, hardly anybody cares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of that as well. I
Yeah,
was
likewise.
so
Okay.
disinterested looking at that lineup today. And there's boys in there that I am objectively really happy for, really
Yeah,
proud of. Deavesy, of course, number one on that list.
I love him.
But I found myself just unable to get excited about it. I can't be asked. Yeah.
I just, yeah. So let's get to it. So we knew last week it was going to be a big week in Welsh rugby. We knew there was a meeting on Monday. We thought we'd have some clarity. We knew the squad was being announced today. We knew that there is this select committee going on in Parliament tomorrow. So we knew it was a big week in Welsh rugby, but I wasn't expecting this. And I'm smiling because I'm the type of person who goes to a funeral and laughs because I get nervous. I'm a nervous laugher and smiler. And yesterday I had a phone call from BBC, asked me to go on have a chat about the news, because they knew that there was going to be a board meeting. And we had a release by the Welsh Rugby Union around about 8 o'clock saying we're now entering into a phase with our preferred bidder of exclusive negotiations, the outcome of which will be known in the next couple of weeks. So we thought, okay, we've got a week.
So to clarify for listeners who've been living under a rock, in that announcement, there was no indication as
Nothing.
to the preferred option. They said they decided on a preferred option, but they hadn't indicated what party that was.
Didn't even mention either of the parties. The only
Mm.
party that was named with any certainty really was the so-called Hollywood consortium bid. Bit of a wish-wash of a statement. Obviously, we've been used to the rumour mill over the last couple of months, but over the last couple of days, and there's been a lot said on fan forums about what people had so-called heard. I think we were all on tenterhooks a little bit. Amongst us and about other fans and friends and stuff. We were all a bit like, will this torture never end? We've got another week. It was 40 minutes before something was leaked to Wales Online. 40 minutes. Not even an hour. By the time you get that shit typed up and put online, it must have been leaked within minutes of that statement coming out by Welsh Rugby Union.
Yeah.
I made my feelings perfectly clear on Twitter that I thought it was despicable. I thought that it was a piss poor way for players, families, coaches, and backroom staff and fans to find out what was going on. Yeah. So it's been indicated and it's been rumoured for weeks on end that Y11 were one of the interested parties in Cardiff. I'm trying not to swear or use phrases like Judas and coins, if I'm being honest. For me, the disappointing thing has been that there has been no transparency, no honesty, no openness, no clarity, not only with us as fans and stakeholders, but with the players and the club. The fact that, fast forward 20 hours, the players themselves issue a statement off their own back saying they've been kept in the dark by the Welsh Rugby Union and Y11 and asking the fans to continue supporting because they'll keep playing for us. Out of everything that's happened in the last 24 hours, that's the thing that broke me. That's the thing that absolutely 100% broke me. Nothing from Ospreys, nothing from Y11. The silence is deafening. Yeah. It just shows utter disregard and contempt, really.
And it's so hard to synthesize your thoughts and your feelings about it when there's so little information on the table. I mean, ultimately, we're still dealing with a rumor. It feels final now, doesn't it? But we still haven't got definitive, concrete information. And like you said, Sam, the lack of comment, 24 hours on now, from Ospreys, Y11, the leadership within the club, but also, WRU level. But what do we even expect from them anymore? Nothing whatsoever. It's just left me in a dumbfounded state. I've tried multiple points throughout the day today to do some preparation for this podcast here now, and I just haven't been able to do it because it feels like such a huge undertaking to sort of open up that box and actually, let the emotions out and feel what's happening, because it's easier to just be numb to it all. I barely looked at my phone over the last 2 weeks, and then this all broke last night, and it was like, okay, I've got to open up the X app and have a look at what's going on and the chatter and the feeling, and it's it's just dissatisfaction everywhere you look. I, you don't hear anyone talking about the positives of these changes that are trying to be made. So it's just incomprehensible how where they're getting their messaging from, what's driving the motivation behind it. Sorry, I'm just waffling. I'm spiraling
Honestly,
and
so just to read the statement from the players, because I
mm,
think it's a really strong statement. Um, as players, we want to address the current situation and offer supporters our point of view. We have been left in the dark by the Welsh Rugby Union and Y11. We ourselves have had no information regarding the ongoing situation. We struggle to believe the most successful Welsh team to exist with the biggest history is on the brink of non-existence. We will continue to play for the fans and for the people who have stood by the Ospreys over the years.
I think for me, this is the most upsetting bit about it. I mean, we're invested as fans. It's bad enough for us, but for the players and staff of the Ospreys 24 hours on to have to put out their own statement off their own backs, for them to not have any answers at all in terms of what the truth actually is and what's going on, the uncertainty for them must be unbearable. You know, it's their livelihood at the end of the day. They've got futures invested in this. And at the moment, those futures are absolutely blown to pieces, really. They haven't got a clue what's going on. And that's completely unacceptable. In any other walk of life, in any other profession, you wouldn't get away with this. And, you know,
no,
why should the Ospreys in this case, you know, okay, as you said,
Yeah.
the WIE, we wouldn't expect anything different from them. The contempt that they've shown towards everybody involved in the game for many years is, you know, well documented and obvious for everybody to see. But we've believed in the Ospreys, the board, the owners, in their transparency around all this, in their constant denial of everything. You know, this isn't happening. And then for the players 24 hours later to still not know what's going on, I think is
And
appalling.
I
yeah,
would like to applaud the bravery of the players for doing this. I would like to applaud the bravery of Jack and Dewi as Welsh captains in also posting this. I would love to applaud the bravery of the people who have been selected in that squad today for posting this and criticising effectively the hand that feeds them. I do not blame you in any way, shape, or form for posting this.
no,
Um, I think it's the perfect clapback to people on social media who have had the absolute fucking effrontery to turn around and say it's okay that this has been leaked. It's proper solid journalism. The players would have had an inkling. The coaches would have had an inkling. Do you know what? That statement shows you they fucking did not.
no.
And I am so like I have actually used the phrase incandescent with rage. I've used that multiple times since yesterday. Wales Online have also quoted me saying that. Do you know what? I am burning with a fire that I can. This is controlled anger for me
Mhm.
because to all you people, like, you know it's bad when Tumble Scarlet is sending you a nice message because both myself and Marc have had a nice message. I also have to say thank you to certain people um, and the messages of support that they have sent on Twitter. The guys from the Dragon's Lair pod,
Mhm.
um, the posts that they put up with Ospreys logos with "We stand by the Ospreys." Mr. Loaf having a flag made to take to Dragons game saying "We stand with the Ospreys."
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, it's
Kempster
fantastic.
Rodri on different Rodri, Scarlett's Rodri,
Hmm.
who is a genuinely nice fella. There are so many people who've messaged me to say, mate, this is shocking. And I did say last night to a couple of people who were like, trolled back through my old tweets to say you were a patsy, you were this, that, and the other. I did say last night, I got no patience for this. I am on my last bar of patience. You need to get out of my face now.
But that's why it's feels so extreme now, isn't it? And why any comment on the players not anticipating this or not expecting this is completely void. Is that we have been given reason to hope over and over and over again by the club and the leadership at the club, and some accountability definitely needs to be taken there. Because even, just a few days ago, Lance was clapping back at people on Twitter in quite a, I don't want to say obnoxious way, but quite a bold, brazen way, calling stuff utter shambles and
Utter rubbish.
utter rubbish, all this sort of stuff, just for the news that we were all dreading to come through 2 days later. So
Yeah.
unless he knows something that we don't, please share it with us, because
If there is a twist in
we're in a
this, yeah,
hopeless position right now. But what's made this worse is the fact that you've given us hope throughout this process. So were you in the know, and you're just misleading us along with the rest of Welsh rugby, or were you just in the dark as we
If
are, and
not,
this has
stand with us.
blindsided you?
hmm
But we need to hear something from the club, from the leadership to just. Oh, well, it's not going to improve the situation, is it? And we
This
don't
is
want
not going to
more
be
false
pretty.
hope. That's the last thing I'm asking for is more false hope. But I guess some accountability and acknowledgement that this could have been done differently.
Oh, so differently.
Yeah.
So
I
differently.
At this stage, I wish we were put out of our misery 6 months ago, because it would have probably been less painful than this long extended torture, really, that we've all had to endure.
Clusterfuck.
The fans, the players, the staff, everything.
I mean, you would hope tomorrow that there'll be no hiding place with the sort of committee tomorrow, that the right questions will be asked to force the right answers out of the union as well, for them to actually be transparent, because that's the whole point of this committee, as far as I can tell, is that
Yeah,
people have the opportunity to ask questions, difficult questions, hopefully,
yeah,
as to the whole process around this, but also what is the final outcome? Where are we with this now? What does that mean for us, especially? Is it the end for the Ospreys? Is there a
A
further twist
merger.
coming down the line, a further plot twist that's going to catch us all unawares? And if so, what sort of time scale we're looking at with there? But like you said, right, I don't know whether we can do any more plot twists on this. It's at the stage now where
yeah,
it feels like an end
Let
game.
us
It
know.
feels like we just need to know, either call out bullshit, it's done, or it's done, one or the
yeah.
other.
Well, I've already heard the Swansea Council, and I don't know whether this is hearsay or not, are planning on launching, a legal challenge against this.
Oh,
And
Rob Stewart.
Rob Stewart.
He's put it
And
on
that's probably
Facebook.
the angle that the Welsh affair, he has put it on Facebook, has he? He's
Yeah.
confirmed that. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So yeah, and as we know, the Welsh Affairs Committee up in Parliament is going to be scrutinising Tierney and Richard Collier Keywood tomorrow, 2:30
Reddit's
onwards.
fucking
You can
skiing.
watch that
No, it's
live.
skiing.
What was that?
Us, Reading
Reddit's
skiing.
skiing.
Oh, is he? Is that where he is?
Which,
Bloody hell.
I mean, talk
I
about
thought you just,
taking the piss.
I
This
know.
is the
I hope he
biggest
goes off
thing.
fucking piste, let me tell you.
I mean, that
Solve the
it
problem.
genuinely is. I mean, laugh, joking aside, for suppose the person who's in charge of, you know, forming the future of Welsh rugby, to
Yes.
be out of the country when
Yes.
this when the select committee meeting is happening, it's just laughable.
It's
It's just
the
beggars
the
belief. It's
the, the
unbelievable.
performance director who hasn't been to a single regional game
Okay.
since he started is off
Mm.
skiing. Yeah, add that in there. But no, the
And
point I was trying to make is hopefully during that scrutinization of the two of them, it should be the first time that we get some detail on the selection process, because they will inevitably ask, what are you using
how have we
to
got you?
determine, yeah, your actions, like what data has fed into the making of this decision. They're inevitably going to be asked that, so hopefully we should get some clearer answers out of this.
And I want to know, like the certain questions I want to know is, if anything, what have you offered Y11? Because Y11 buying Cardiff and potentially the rumour being merging and creating a super region in the middle between us and Cardiff. Also heard a rumour about half the games in Cardiff, half the games here. You are fucking mental if you think anybody, Cardiff or Ospreys fans, are going to buy into that.
Yeah.
Because I will not. I would rather shit in my hands and clap than be part of that fuckery.
But it's also it's not ideal for either party then, you know.
None.
You're
No.
getting in the city centre of our capital city, half the number of high traffic days, half the number of home fixtures based there that they're going to make a killing off and get a sellout crowd for, and equally the same happening in Wales's second city. It
Yeah.
it, it doesn't make sense, and that's probably where, if anywhere, this will fall up, is the legal challenge from Swansea, plus the scrutiny from the Welsh Affairs Committee in terms of the economic impact on Swansea. I know we're not, we don't get tons of people coming to Ospreys fixtures, but there will be an impact on the immediate vicinity, the regularly attended pubs and drinking spots and all these sort
Yeah.
of things. It will have a ripple effect. So hopefully they can make a bit of a point out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're stripping out a money-making asset from the Wales' second city. It's crazy.
What are you doing? And for me, what have you done to induce Y11 into this? Because it solved a problem. You go from 4 to 3 in a neatish manner. Also, what are they offering that this Hollywood consortium wasn't offering? Because to me, on the face of it, that Hollywood consortium with a TV deal, like with Wrexham, look what that's done to Wrexham. As much as it would absolutely gall me to see those buggers up there have something like that, surely to me that seems like...
Yeah.
The question is, if we weren't going down to 3, would Y11 still be the preferred option, or would it be the Hollywood
That's the thing, yeah.
consortium? Yeah.
I mean, Cardiff fans who were in the know seem to be suggesting that the Hollywood offer was far superior to the Y11 one in terms of finance, in terms of long-term planning, in terms of profile and what they could offer. And yet Y11 are the ones that have ended up with a contract, potentially. So, as you say, what shithousery's gone on for that to happen?
So if they're taking a dud deal, a worse deal, in order just to push through their own narrative at the expense of everything else, then that needs some high-level scrutiny, doesn't it? Because that's irresponsible behaviour from a
and that's gone through the
governing
board unanimously.
And that's
no dissent at all. Surely somebody on there would have enough gumption or enough backbone to say this isn't the right deal for Welsh rugby, but for everybody to keel over and bend over and say, oh, he will go for this one, just stinks of doing it for an easy life, doesn't it?
Doing an easy life. And, if you are going to have, the balls to make this decision, have the balls to come out and say why. Be transparent about it and say, oh, look, it was the easiest solution for us. If that's
and do it immediately.
Be honest. Rip that plaster off.
Because they've kicked it down the road 2 weeks again. If it weren't for the leaked article, we wouldn't know right now. They just kicked it. They said, the news is we've made a decision that we'll tell you about in 2 weeks' time.
And I do worry tomorrow, are they going to hide behind NDAs, or because they're in a consultation process, they can't say this, they can't say that, they can't say the other.
To be honest,
I worry they're going to hide behind that tomorrow and not answer questions.
And do you know what I'd be asking as well? Where are these leaks coming from? Because you have got as many holes in you as a fucking calendar. Like you have. Like, where is this coming from? Because by any stretch of the imagination, what happened yesterday was awful. 40 minutes. Come on, that takes a piss.
Because it's select information, isn't it? The team sheets never get leaked like they do every week when England are playing. But it's always stuff of this nature. It's strategic, isn't it? So we knew that anyway. But that needs answering without a doubt.
Grant from OSC is going tomorrow. There's representatives of all of the regions going. Do you know what, lads? Do us a favour. Do us a solid. Stand in unity with us tomorrow, like you're saying you will, and screw them to the wall. Ask them really uncomfortable questions. Make them squirm.
Yeah.
Make them squirm. I think what I want from this is I want them to be on the ropes. I want that to be the first blow delivered tomorrow, and then we keep punching. So
Hmm.
Friday night, I know there's lots of people who've said don't go, blah blah blah. No, turn up, go, cheer, support, show those lads exactly what they mean to you. Um, I'm probably going to invest in a flat white sheet tomorrow and some black acrylic paint. I know several others who are going to do that because it's short notice to get proper flags made up.
Yeah.
Um, I am. I've paid a lot of money to go to Ireland in March. However, it is Ireland. I bought my ticket off the IRFU and it is out in Ireland. I would be daft to throw 2 grand away. But I'm going to go to Ireland. I'm going to have a nice 2 days. I am not going to take a single bit of Welsh Rugby Union clothing with me. I will be in my Ospreys gear all weekend.
Hmm.
As a fan of any other region, I encourage you, wear your dragon shirt, wear your blue shirt, wear your scarlet shirt. Do
Yeah.
not wear a bit of Welsh Rugby Union
Yeah.
gear. If you can't bring yourself to do that, buy an Irish shirt and put the name of a Welsh player on the back of it. Do not give them any money.
Yeah.
Rod, what
Yeah.
was your suggestion earlier on?
But boycott the WRU. Yeah, hashtag WRU boycott. Let's get it
Yeah,
out there. No ticket sales. Let's not give them any ticket sales, any merch sales, any jersey sales. Let's unfollow them on all social media, and deregister or unsubscribe from their
from
mailing
Mayland.
lists, because that's a huge part of their sort of financial heft is the data that they hold on to. So if they lose a quarter of that, if all Ospreys players unsubscribe from their mailing list, then they're gonna lose a whole lot of revenue. So yeah, just let's just make them hurt, guys. Let's punish them in every way that we can, and that's with our spending dollars and not giving them to them. So yeah, boycott the WRU. They won't be getting a single penny from me, for a
Ever
while
again.
until they either reverse this decision or I don't know, do something incredible that completely changes our opinion of them. How likely is that to happen? Not very.
No.
No.
And well done, MPs have started coming out now. Torsten Bell,
Hmm.
Carolyn Harris, they've come out. There are people. I haven't seen anything off our MSPs as yet, but I'm sure they'll be coming out as well. Carolyn Harris has always had good ties with the Ospreys when she's done her yearly food bank challenges at Christmas and everything else. Let's not go quietly. Phil Steele said on Twitter, if there's any fans who can be guaranteed to not go quietly, it's us.
Yeah.
Email your MP, email your MSP, email Y11, go on your socials, be a frigging nuisance, be an arsehole, go on radio and TV news like me,
Hmm.
you know. Um,
I've been sharing the Y11 leadership's LinkedIn profiles today
Yeah.
on Twitter. Send them a message.
Mm.
yeah,
Let them know what you think.
yeah. Keep it polite, keep it professional,
Hmm.
and just say what's happening. Why
Yeah.
can't you just give a straight answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, I would have happily gone, fair play to Emma Powell, organising a get together in Neath tonight for fans. I was working in Cardiff today, hence me being interviewed outside CAP and being on BBC. Um, Traffic was crap. If I could have gone there and done that and then come here and done this, I would have happily done that. We need to all stand together now. The infighting within the Ospreys fans of, we told you, you buried your head in the sand. We don't need that now, guys. We need to stand together. We all need to be inside the tent pissing out, not some of us outside pissing in. So we need to galvanise now. We need to rally. We need to get together. We need to come together and show the Welsh Rugby Union what this true region means to us. Because it's not just us saying that we are the one true region. The other regions admit that. The media admit that. You can't get away from figures. We are the most successful region. We need to make that known. We need to make that heard. We need to not go quietly. You know, to quote Dylan Thomas, rage, rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get up in arms over this now. We need to get angry. We need to get organised. And we need to put stuff in motion.
I'll join you with getting a poster for this weekend as well, Sam, even if it is just a handwritten one, because if we can make them all expletive and if we can get enough of them in the crowd, there's no ways that the cameras can avoid seeing them.
Honestly,
So
flat
write
white
it in
sheet.
big letters. Fuck
Yeah,
the
flat white
WRU.
sheet. Flat white sheet is a couple of quid in Asda.
Mhm.
Get some acrylic paint in the range. Paint it on a sheet. I got a big frigging wall in front of me. If you want to, Rod, you're more than welcome. And we've got a spare ticket for Friday. So you're welcome to come over with us so that we can be noisy buggers together. If not, I'll come over to the terrace with you. I even asked someone, did they know where we could get a fake coffin or get a fake coffin made? I was all up for having a funeral and a wake. Just one of my more ADHD moments, to be honest. But, you know, yeah.
I can't believe where we are. I mean, I'm older than both of you, and there'll be lots of people of my
Only a
age and
couple of
my
years,
generation. I know, I'm giving you a pass there, Sam. But there'll be lots of people of our generation who will remember fondly when there were 20 highly competitive Welsh club teams playing across South Wales primarily, who would regularly take down top English teams, take down touring teams. And now we're at a point 30, 40 years later where there are going to be 3 professional teams in Newport, in Llanelli, and in Cardiff for the entirety of Wales to get behind.
Horrendous.
And I think, the fact that this is where we have got, and, it's well documented, the decades of mismanagement, the decades of jobs for the boys and backhanders and everything else that the union have done over the years. And I never thought in my lifetime we'd get to a position where there would only be 3 teams in the whole of Wales, and even those 3 teams not being competitive enough to be able to hold a candle to the best of Ireland, England, France, Scotland. We are only comparable to New Zealand as a country for our love of rugby. It's our national sport. Can you imagine in New Zealand this happening, or their union allowing it to get to a point where there were only 3 professional teams in the entire country in a rugby mad nation? That's us.
Let
We are the
alone
equivalent of them.
Mate, look at Scott Robinson.
Yeah.
20 wins out of 27, and he's been sacked, and it's been discussed in New Zealand Parliament.
Yeah, I just can't comprehend where we are and how we've got to this state, and how there's no way out of this as far as I can see, not just for us as Ospreys, but for Welsh rugby as a whole. And it's really sad.
Very sad.
We've got people like Jonathan Davis, not Foxy, but old Jiffy Jonathan Davis, turning around and saying, bring me on board. I will happily come on board. There are very many passionate players like him who will happily come on board and will do something. And, this tweet that he sent last week was, can't have no regional rugby in an area which has produced so many great players from Bridgend, Maesteg, Aberafon, Neath and Swansea. Haven't we learned our lesson from alienating Pontypridd? It's unthinkable. It's unthinkable.
The area won't recover. There are already enough teams on a Saturday afternoon that can't field 15 players.
Yeah.
Years ago, you'd have second teams, third teams, fourth teams. The interest in the game as a whole is dying. game, schools rugby, everything from top to bottom is just an absolute shambles. And if we're not careful, we're not going to be a rugby nation. We're going to be a football nation, a darts nation,
Yeah.
whatever we might be. Rugby's going to be
I,
lost
I've
to
looked
us.
into a
Well,
I've looked into a ice hockey season ticket for the Cardiff Devils.
but that will happen, Mark. That will happen.
Yeah.
If we lose the Ospreys, Swansea will become a football city, and that'll
Mm.
percolate outwards, and it'll just spell the demise of rugby in the surrounding regions as well,
Yeah.
because it'll
Yeah,
stretch across South Wales.
Yeah. Because if they haven't got anything to aspire to, if they haven't got a professional structure to aspire to,
or a
then why start
pathway.
playing? And why start playing?
Yeah.
And make it easy for these kids to be on the pathway with their parents running them around. I'm not being funny. If I'm, Swansea or Bridgend, tonight it took me nearly 2 hours to get from Cardiff to Swansea. If you've got someone in the top of the Neath Valley having to like take their kid to training, I'm sure they would because you love your kids and you want them to improve. But you're not making it easy.
Yeah.
You're not. Um,
So
just wanted to say as well, I've had some lovely messages back. I don't want to name drop certain players, but I had some lovely messages back when I've messaged them to say we're with you, we'll keep supporting, we'll keep fighting till the bitter end.
mhm.
I've ugly cried today. Nobody needs that in their life.
We've also
But
had really good discussion on our WhatsApp community. So if anybody's out there who's not on it and wants to join, message any
and
of
we'll
us
give an
three, and
invite.
we'll link you in. I've linked in a couple of more people today, and it's just with there's no point reading individual messages off that chat because it's very extensive, but there's a lot of anger in there, and I just want to make sure all those people feel represented. We'll probably hear more of it tomorrow, succinctly put by Grant and the other representatives of the various supporters groups of the regions. But yeah, there's a lot of anger in there, and I just want to get that across as well. That it's not just us saying this; it is so deep within the
Yeah.
community at the Ospreys. So
I
this begs a question: what scenarios are there if this sale goes through and Y11 by Cardiff? For me, there are three options, maybe more sort of sub options coming off those, but it's a merger.
Major.
It's fold in one or the other, and if that's the case, it's going to be the Ospreys because, as we
It's
know, there's
Cardiff.
got to be rugby in the capital city. So it's merger, fold in us, or
Welsh Rugby
trying
Union
to enter
taking over.
Ospreys into some other sort of league, or whether that's the Prem, the Championship, who knows? That's probably the least likely outcome, but the most desirable from an Ospreys fan perspective if this was to go
Yeah.
through. And
I think
anything
the only
else?
other thing that I saw from a Scarlets fan last night was about the union therefore taking control of the Ospreys in the short term
Yeah.
and then trying to push through their West Wales region plan and sort of holding the Scarlets to ransom in terms of, well, we now own the Ospreys. Um, if you don't merge the two teams together, then we close you instead.
Yeah.
Mm,
So and that came from a Scarlets fan. That could be absolute paranoia from their
yeah,
side in terms of that. It's not entirely over yet, and I can't see that scenario happening. And then again, who the hell would support a merged Scarlets Ospreys team? We've had that conversation, God knows how many times before, and I think all
yeah.
of us would rather we just fold rather than merge with the
Because
Scarlets, and they feel exactly the same.
you've got to imagine that the WRU have had discussions with Y11 whereby they've expressed what they would want Y11 to do
To do.
post-purchase, because obviously they can't
They can't have
legally
two.
have two teams entered into the same league, can they? So they must have been having these kind of conversations, but there's nothing stopping Y11 in theory from retaining both and yeah, and forcing that decision
Mm.
onto the WRU, in which case it'll be Scarlets or Dragons. So
Yeah.
there are plenty of ways that this could play out, aren't there?
Yeah.
But we just have no idea about Y11's motivations. Like,
It's the
is he a
uncertainty. Come
Swansea
on,
boy?
guys.
Does he care about Swansea? If he did, he could be just putting himself in a blinding position to save the Ospreys at the demise of another team, but
Can't
because we've
say
had no
that.
insight, it's all theories.
But I mean,
Yeah,
ultimately, knowing how we felt the last 24 hours, we wouldn't want to inflict that on any other team either. Would we?
No,
Even our nearest and dearest rivals.
yeah,
And that's the message I've had from so many Scarlets fans over the last few days is that they don't want us to go because it's their biggest rivalry. It's their bread and butter. They
yeah,
want the
yeah,
Ospreys to be around, and it's going
yeah.
to be negative for them when we're not around if that's the
Hmm.
case. So
Hmm.
it changes the whole landscape of rugby in Wales.
Yeah,
yeah. And I just think from my point of view, this is just absolutely soul destroying. The not knowing is the not knowing that kills you.
yeah.
It's the waiting. It's the lack of transparency. And I just think, own it. If you were going to be a villain. Own it. Own those dastardly deeds. Just come out, balls to the wall, and be like, do you know what? Yeah, we've done it. This is why we've done it. Just be transparent. That's all people want is a transparent process. You know, I try and make me understand why you're doing what you're doing. Because there may be some logic. I can't see what possible logic there would be, but there may be some. What's your decision making? Why have we ended up here? Give me a timeline. What's happened?
Hmm.
I need to know detail. That's what I need to know. I need to understand. You need to explain.
Yeah.
You know? Um, but
Should we
that
get to
is
that?
kind of
Can we
it.
not talk about it anymore, please?
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's not talk about it. Um, because we've been off the cuff, really. I've not thought about a random today. Um, so have either of you guys ever want to put me on the spot with a random? Mark looked like he was thinking of
No.
something.
I was just thinking about the game on Friday because we haven't actually discussed the rugby aspect of Friday's game either.
We haven't.
I know it seems
Um,
secondary to everything else, but just to say that, you know, I'm sure whoever is putting that pitch on that pitch on Friday night will have more fire in their belly than they would have done maybe at the start of the week if they ever possibly could, just because of everything that's happened this week. So just, and as you said, we'll be proud of whatever happens on Friday. Just the fact that they can go out on the field and perform for 80 minutes will be testament to their um whatever you want to say, their drive,
yeah,
ambition, say. And the result is almost secondary. However, there is a game of rugby to win on Friday and a very winnable game as
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
What we got to lose? Dr. Pepper's, innit?
Hmm.
You know?
I certainly need a win in my life.
Hmm.
Feeling pretty low about it all at the moment. So yeah, that would be fantastic. Not to lump the pressure on to the boys.
Yeah, a win would be nice. A win would be nice.
Hmm.
Um, However, I have done some interesting things in the last 24 hours. Set up a book club in work.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Weekly or monthly?
No, monthly,
Hmm.
um, with the girls. Fallen down a bit of a rabbit hole of romantasy. Some of these books need a smat and a trigger warning. Not there for the smat, but I am there kind of for the trigger warnings. So I'm kind of loving anything at the moment with dragons, fairies, werewolves, vampires, and magic. Absolutely. I'm currently on my seventh lesson of Fourth Wing, mainly for the dragons. Loving the
See,
dragons.
I couldn't do a book club because you're not getting me to read a book that I don't want to read.
Well, what we've
Like I'm not gonna struggle through a book that I'm not enjoying just so that I can discuss it at the end of the month. The, it's just not happening. It's never
oh
happening.
no, there's got to be
I'd
common
be wanting
consensus.
I'd need to join a fantasy book club fantasy fiction book club that does exclusively that. I can't have people coming in with their suggestions.
Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. But yeah, so I've started a book club. So that's my positive
Nice, that's good. That's good.
for this week.
I like that.
So yeah, I've started a book club. Bought a really nice reading diary off a reading journal then, not a diary, off TikTok, with my to be read or to be listened to pile is horrendous. So I'm slowly working my way through that, but it also gives me stuff like of new releases and stuff. So, what is a glimmer in your life for the last, couple of weeks that you've thought, do you know what? It's shit, but this has given me a little bit of positivity. Mine is my book club and my reading journal.
I mean,
Send us
without
something
dragging
nice.
it down, so part of the reason why we haven't, or at least I haven't recorded over the past few weeks, is my grandmother's passed away, just for everybody out there. Um, but what's been really nice is everybody sharing their memories and just dumping all their photos on our big family group chat and that sort of thing. So honestly, that's probably been just a nice little glimmer of happiness throughout, a pretty disrupted period. Has just been able to go on my phone and just look at all
Yeah,
those photos. Um, yeah, yeah,
good times, good
yes.
memories, and I think the people that we lose live on in the stories that
Hmm.
we are able to tell
Yeah.
about them. They become our family folklore, really, don't
Hmm.
they?
Hmm.
You
Oh,
know, there's certain,
100%.
yeah,
And she was a complete figurehead, matriarch, whatever you want to call her, whatever other sort of
a
synonyms you want
character.
to
She
use.
was, she was, she was
Oh,
your
she's
nonna.
certainly a
She was your mama.
character. Yeah, yeah. And she raised me and my brothers alongside my mom and my dad. So, yeah, big shout out to my nonna. Love you lots. Rest in
God
peace.
bless you, Nonna doll. And you didn't do too bad bringing this feral one up. He's a credit to you. Um, I am old enough to be your mum, Rod, and I'd be very proud if you were my kid. Um,
Well, that's one of the
Mark,
nicest photos that I've got. Sorry, Mark. It is just an old photo of her where she looks stern, which she was, but
yeah,
also looks, there's like a caringness to the way that
you
she's
know
sort of
there's
looking
love
at the
there.
camera. Exactly, exactly. So, yeah,
There's
that
steel,
photo
but
is probably one that I'll print out and keep close to me.
there's steel, but there's love.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and the positive for me, and I've got to put this in because my mum's a lunatic, and we've not discussed my mum being a lunatic for a little while. Took my mum shopping the other day, and when my mum was very, very young, my uncle locked her in a chicken shed. She must have been about 4 or 5. So my mum is petrified of birds. A couple of weeks ago, I took her to Waitrose in Cowbridge. There was a kid outside Cafe Nero, which is just opposite Waitrose in Cowbridge, and he had his pet chicken with him. My mum shit herself, absolutely shit herself. I had to like cover the chicken with like a coat and say to this kid, "I'm really sorry." She won't go in and get a cup of tea. She's standing there looking out the window at this chicken, going, "I'm not fucking going out there. I'm not fucking going out there." And then the other day, she was very, very aggy because she couldn't get her favourite style of mop in B&M. They didn't have it, so she had to buy this different Velida, whatever. And she's like, "I don't like it. It's microfiber. I like the proper old fashioned, no, the twisted cotton ones."
Hmm.
We come out of B&M. She's pushing the trolley into the trolley rack, and this pigeon seemed to be like stalking her. My mother just turned to this pigeon and, like a right little savage, went, "And you can fuck off and all." The pigeon. I'm like, mother. So, these are the positives in my life. She makes me laugh. Mark, what positives have you got, my little boo boo?
Oh, I think we've all had a bit of a shit time, haven't we, recently with family stuff. So that's why I've not been here for the last 6, 7 weeks. My mum's been in hospital for the whole of that time. So I've been completely clogged up with visiting her. So the little glimmer of light for me at the minute is that she's been discharged on Monday. She's going to a lovely nursing home locally where she'll be safe and well looked after, and means I don't have to visit hospital twice every
Yeah,
day. And
It's
it
been
just gives
hard.
us a little glimmer of hope for her and for us, really, that we can have
Yeah.
some sort of quality of life back. So yeah, it'll be nice
You
to
can get back to normal.
be able to focus on other things a little bit. And one thing I definitely will be focusing on, because I have to have an absolute obsession at every given point. And baseball spring training starts in 3 weeks' time. And if there's ever a sport you can absolutely obsess over with all the stats and figures and everything else that you can pore over,
Yeah, not for
then
me.
baseball is that sport. So in about 3 weeks' time, I'll be becoming completely obsessed with poring over batting averages and all sorts of things, sad and statty. And
Is that what that hat is, Mark? Is that
this is St. Louis Cardinals. It's my
okay?
Nice.
absolutely crap baseball team. They're actually the second most successful team in the history of the MLB, but at the moment we're absolutely shit. So we've got an
Well,
absolutely full season to look forward to. We're in a complete rebuild with a lot of youngsters. However, I can't wait for it to start. And it'll be a welcome distraction from the rugby a little bit, maybe as well, with everything that's going on with the Ospreys,
yeah,
rugby as a whole. So yeah, I'll become a baseball obsessive in about 3 weeks' time.
Okay,
banging.
prepared for it.
Well, if you've stuck with us this far, guys, send us your glimmers. Send us your little things that have made you happy since the beginning of January. Because I think it's rather fitting that yesterday was Blue Monday, which is traditionally the most depressing day of the year. And the Welsh Rugby Union dropped that on us. I was having a
Yeah.
relatively okay day up until then. I was like, it was fine. Um, Trigger warning, BBC, new guy at BBC's got my number, so you may see me on your telly. May have seen me in my funfair on BBC News TV tonight. And if you've ever watched Grand Slam with Windsor Davis, then you'll
Yeah.
know the reference to funfair. Um, I had my funfair on. First time like ever, I was actually in Cardiff. Um, and they were like, "Oh, can we film you?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm about 10 minutes away from the stadium. I'll be over now with my comfort." But let's see how this plays out, shall we?
Hmm.
As usual, if you've enjoyed this, like, comment, share, subscribe. If you haven't liked it, then share,
Yeah.
comment.
Sorry. And I'm not being rude to looking at my phone at the moment. I'm just checking beyond hope that there might have been an announcement while
Yeah,
we're recording,
nothing,
but there's nothing.
nothing,
No.
So
nothing at all.
So maybe
So
next week, unless there's a major update, maybe we just try and keep it to on-field stuff, just to give everyone a break, because I think we all need it. Obviously, unless there's something major that we need to discuss.
I'm gonna go and see the new Michael Sheen play on Thursday night in Swansea with the new Welsh National Theatre, so we can discuss that as well. You know,
Oh, I'm doing something interesting on the weekend.
what are you doing?
Present from my brother for Christmas. We are going to Hiraeth, the nice fancy restaurant.
How do I
Can't
know
rem
that?
um
They're in Cardiff,
yeah,
North
and I think
Cardiff,
the head chef has maybe been on Great British Menu a couple
Brisbane.
of
You, yeah,
times,
yeah,
representing
yeah.
Wales. Really good restaurant. We've been there before, but they're doing a taster menu, Six Nations themed for the next few
Nice.
months. It's called Six by Hiraeth, and there's six courses, and each one is modelled off one of the Six Nations nations. Um, so that should be quite fun. I'll take lots of photos, and maybe we can chat
Oh
about that
yes,
next
please,
week.
because
Because
I love that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah,
So
just don't eat the Welsh course.
yeah,
yeah.
boycott,
Boycott
boycott
the
that,
WRU.
boycott that.
Do
Be
you
like
know what?
that.
I'll walk it over to the stadium and I'll launch it at one of the windows. Yeah.
Honestly, normally my new office is right next to the prison, but I'm on the 15th floor. And we've got a direct view over to the stadium. And normally on my days in the office, I go over, I sit there with a cup of coffee, I plug all my laptop in, and I look over and I'm like, this morning I just kept doing that to her. Just kept flicking V's at it. It gave me no joy
Yeah.
to see it. And I never thought I'd ever say that. But
Yeah.
have a good week,
Mhm.
guys. Turn up on Friday. Those of you that can, be loud, be cheerful, be proud. Think of ways that we can make ourselves heard, and we will catch up with you next week. But as always, our blood runs back. We are Ospreys. We will be Ospreys until the bitter, bitter, bitter end. And it's not over. It is not over by a long shot. So do you know what? Go on, Rod. End with your usual.
Ymlaen y gwerth.